That's funny. I don't care who you are. Hey, everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you are on the lifeboat. Can we get a 5x5, including you?
Good to see you. I don't know how you sound. You sound good to me, but I'm sitting right next to you.
I was kind of hoping they would hear you. Yeah, see where we're going with that? That's okay, though. It's early in the morning, and we went a little early. Hey, Cat Stewart, you're doing great. Good. Kristen Melinda said 5x5. Good. You know what I don't have, and I'm going to catch heat for it. Johnny, I'm going to catch heat for it.
What don't you have?
I don't have my glasses.
It's a problem.
It is.
And how we could let this happen?
Obviously, somebody didn't mention Lisa from Jersey. That's been the problem.
Well,
Because if you had mentioned Lisa from Jersey, I assure you, I'd have been sporting.
Where are we? So many rooms, Lady E asks.
Well, the truth of the matter is, we actually live in this is a one-room facility. You know how they get really, really creative with where they put cameras and camera angles? Like you shoot really, really low, and then you kind of go, you know the drill.
There are 37 cameras in this room.
Correct. But we are
make this look like the Amazon if we get the camera right.
That's right. And that's even without green screen, which we can also do. If you've been around here long enough, we did do green screen for a while. Nice. Scoop, good to see you. Deaudrey Gore, glad you're here. Queen of Awkwardness. See this now? I can see you. Inappropriate Heifer. You are really lucky I'm still talking to you. Hef not only broke up.
Wow.
Hef not only said, that she was done with me and that this was the official walk away and breakup kind of thing, but she did it while I was live with the entire world. And she's kind of cold-hearted. Hef, no one's ever done anything like that.
Have it coming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, make no mistake. Make no mistake. I had it coming. But that's not really the problem. You hear this? That's not going to fly, man.
We could probably hit with some WD-40.
This entire couch either needs to be replaced or we're going to have to WD-40 this thing because it sounds like you should hear wow, in the background. You know what I mean? Because it just, for real, what does it sound like? I'm sorry. Balake Richardson, shut the front door. Good to see you. Yarn Prepper, what's happening? Thoughts and prayers. Scoobly.
Jilbo Baggins.
Jilbo, tell me you don't love Jilbo Baggins. No, you keep laughing. Hef. That's okay. Seriously, it's not you. It's me. I'm sure. But on live, you know what I mean? It's not even like a text breakup. She did it with the entire world. Lynn Sanity says, "Do you love Lynn Sanity?" Lynn Sanity says, "WD-40 fixes all." And you know what? I'm throwing that up there.
You know the crazy thing? It's got a million uses. Way more than just, it's got a lot of uses.
I'm not sure that a million isn't lowball on that.
You think it could be?
I think it's lowball on that. I think that, hey, look who it is. I think if WD-40 doesn't take care of it, then of course you move on to duct tape. And if you can't duck it, forget about it. You laughed so hard at my Beetlejuice voice last night. Oh, Jennifer Folsom, I like to hear that. That is good medicine. See that? Look at this. Kristen Melinda said the exact same thing I did. What WD-40 doesn't fix, duct tape will. Yep. Jilbo Baggins is currently on half of the Klonopin dose that she was on 1 month ago. Proud of you. Hey, please make sure you're being careful, right? Bless you, for real. But always with everybody, we say, be careful with benzos. I'm sure that you're doing this with the approval of a doc, right? And you're doing it at a good, safe rate. I have no doubt whatsoever on that because this is a pretty smart audience. I'm not going to lie to you. Squirrel Nut Zipper is not happy with the adjustment in the room.
She does not. She's looking around going like,
she is not at all pleased. Here, stick this next to you and see if you can get Squirrel in the basket.
Hey, Squirrel.
She's got a very, very unhappy look on her face.
She does. Hey, Squirrel.
And if Squirrel's not happy, bad things happen.
Look, I'm not. Scent. She's focused on right now.
And maybe that's good. Leave her over there with that interesting scent. The Crafter's Cauldron. Oh, hello. 90 days, no cigs, but I want one more now than I did the second day. Why? Well, Debbie Logan, hey, this is actually a really cool question, isn't it? I mean, it's painful and I'm not making light of it, but it's an actual interesting, not cool. It's a very interesting question. Why would somebody want something more after X number of days away? We know that there is no chance whatsoever that you're having a physical craving of any kind. Physical cravings were gone so freaking long ago. You're at 90 days. You're 3 months out. There are no physical cravings. Long gone. Nothing. Nothing in your body remembers it. You may not believe that, but I promise you, after 90 days, there's nothing in there craving nicotine. So that's got to be right here, right? So what's happening right now that's making you want to double your dopamine level? Because what happens when you smoke nicotine is your dopamine levels, it's dopamine times 2 for a very brief period of time, but that's what it was. So you would light a cigarette, take that first draw, and then all of a sudden it was that, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm good. I'm cool, whatever. Very, very short, which is why people used to smoke 2 packs a day, right? Before they realized how bad this was for you. You know, there were people who just went from one to the next to the next. Yeah, you remember
Mark.
Good Lord.
Tommy and I had a friend named Mark who drove from Texas to Florida, or no, Maine to Florida, was it? It was some other place.
No,
started out.
Massachusetts to Houston, Texas.
He claims
he went.
I don't doubt it.
I don't either.
He claimed he smoked a carton of cigarettes with one match.
Lit one match. I will tell you something about the guy. We were booking travel arrangements. Right, we were doing some. It was illegal, but we were booking travel arrangements, and we needed his help because there were a lot of people carrying a lot of things, so to speak. And he said, "Nope, not doing it on an airplane." And we said, "Why?" He said,
"We thought he was worried about the sketching."
Right? Yeah, I'm not getting on a plane. TSA, you know, this kind of thing. Although that TSA was pretty new. This was not a concept that most people had heard of yet. But he said, "No, you can't smoke on an airplane." And we're like, "Yeah, bro, but we're talking about 2.5 to 3 hours, man. You only got to go 2.5 to. This is a 2.5 to 3 hour flight. It's not like you got to go 2 weeks or whatever." He goes, "Oh no, I don't."
Listen, in his house, I swear to God, this is the truth. In his house, when you walk in, on the edge of his wall, like that's the whole wall, like
the entirety of the wall.
His house, there was a. Was it this high?
It was like a hedgerow.
A hedgerow of cartons. I'm like, those empty? He goes, no, those are new. I'm like, you think there's going to be a run on cigarettes?
No, they're going to raise the taxes on it. He knew that they were.
There must have been 1,000 cartons. I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny.
No,
was there 1,000 cartons?
You know how at the bottom of your, you go into some houses and they got like that little thing at the bottom. I don't know, it's wainscoting or like not like crown molding, but you got the thing on the bottom where it's like, okay, it was like that, except it was maybe 12 cartons high and 3 cartons deep. And it went around
the whole house.
It was an apartment, but
the whole apartment.
It covered the entire insides. And everybody that saw its first thought was, "My God, you've smoked that many cigarettes."
And the fact that you could almost say his name because it's the most nondescript. It's like John Doe.
Yeah, he's Mark
like John
Smith.
Smith.
He's
Mark Smith.
Mark
His name.
Smith.
So good luck finding that guy, Mark Smith.
Track down Mark Smith.
Was he funny though? What a funny
and he looked like the Marlboro Man.
And he had, listen to this. He would take the cigarettes and break the filters off and throw them away.
No. Because he did complain that filters were what were killing him. Right. But what he smoked was Camel Straights. Yeah, right. They were those itty bitty little things.
Down till they were this
his
big.
Fingers. When he was a very clean man, for the record, he really was. He was not a dirty dude or anything like that.
Was spectacular.
His apartment was, I mean, almost like OCD kind of clean.
How old is he then?
He had to be in his 40s.
Wherever he is, if his lungs are still working, in his apartment, there are 1,000 cartons.
Back to Beetlejuice, right? Do you remember the guy sitting on the couch who goes, "How do I look?" Seriously, there aren't any mirrors. You remember the guy that had the Marlboros and he just looked like he was lung cancer in
in human form.
In human form, I'm fairly confident that was Mark Smith.
I'm telling you.
So, I mean, sadly, you've never seen anything like it. I'm not joking. Did you ever see him when he didn't have a cigarette?
No, but the first time I was with you when the first time we walked into his apartment, the stud look when we saw the cards. I'm like,
the first thought
said,
is,
"Are those empty?
You smoked every one of those cigarettes?"
Exactly.
He's like, no, I'm going to smoke every one of those cigarettes.
We're like, wait, what? Those are full?
Oh, for vacations, he would not do anything that wasn't on a cruise.
It had to have been 20 grand worth of cigarettes.
Oh, I'll bet you. But he was a construction worker.
Don't they go stale?
Not at the rate he was smoking them. I guarantee you nothing was going stale at the rate that cat was smoking.
No, but I've never been a cigarette smoker. Don't they go stale? Isn't it? Maybe it's not.
No, please, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I do not know the updates on your cat. And please, I would love to know that.
Sorry,
No,
I can't go off camera.
Oh, on the schnozzle? Oh, you're just gonna have to cope with that. Johnny did say that he wanted a dump button so that he could blow his nose or give you the finger, or that kind of thing. If he was really mad at the audience, he didn't say it like that. I just thought that sounded funny, but you understand what I'm saying.
A toggle switch is, I think, the word I used.
Good
I think I called
God.
it a toggle.
Toggle.
Switch.
Yes, it was a toggle. Good Lord, look at this. My dad smoked no filter Camels for years.
4 a day.
4 packs a day. That's 80, right? 24. Yeah, that's 80 cigarettes a day. Good.
That's
good God.
That's a lot of cigarettes.
Good God, man.
I knew somebody. This is a true story. You remember? So I'm not gonna say her name. She had a relative that was sick. It was cancer. He was in his 80s, and he went. The family took him to the doctor and said, because they said, "Look,
if you quit,
they
you'll
said
be
you
dead."
gotta quit smoking." And they said the doctor literally said, "Lighten up." The shock to his body would kill him.
Yeah, whatever you do. Should he quit, Doc? No, that would kill him. The shock to his body would kill him.
That's what they said. They're like, look, he's going to die of something, but it ain't going to be the cancer.
No, that's what's keeping him alive at that point.
I remember hearing that. That was the first time I had ever heard that. I've heard it several times throughout my life. Other people say the similar thing.
Good morning, plant freak. Glad you're here. Jobo Baggins.
Ironically, that's one of the only things I never did with cigarettes. I just never did them.
Plant freak. Thoughts and prayers for you. But you know what? Would you do me a favor? Plant freak, you're not shy. You're not shy at all. I've seen...
You're not shy.
No, come on. Not.
It's a good song.
You didn't.
Stopped.
No, what he meant is you get around from show to show.
Song.
Seen you on other shows before. I've never seen you on the lifeboat. Why don't you reach out to me and come on here and let's talk about stagnation. It's an entire show. We could do a couple hours on stagnation, and I would love to talk about that. You know why? So many people find themselves in that situation, especially whilst getting sober. Yeah, how do you find the kind of time? Well, you know what? The people that smoke 4 packs a day, though, it doesn't get in the way of what they do. Funny story. My mother ran daycare centers, and my mom had this little girl there. Very, very funny little kid. Not funny, haha. Yeah, funny, haha, but never funny on purpose, haha. She just outed her parents and her mom on things by accident constantly, But we were doing this public service, or I don't know what you call it, but they were talking about cigarettes, and they were saying that, smoking cigarettes can take X number of minutes off your life. What they were saying was because of how long the average person dies earlier from being a smoker, they said, each cigarette basically takes, 2 or 3 minutes off of your life. And this little girl goes, no, that's not true. No. And we're like, well, this is just what the scientists say, the doctors say, we're not saying that, but it's not true. And I said, well, you don't really know that until, and I'm not trying to get into this conversation. And she's like, my mom smokes all the time, and it takes like 30 seconds. She lights that thing and goes, it's over. She thought it was taking 2 to 3 minutes out of her day, not out of her life. Nah, she knocks them out in 30 seconds.
Greg smoking like that.
How about Jack? We knew a school teacher that would walk outside into the smoking area, and he would light a cigarette, and there would be this flow that never stopped. He would be breathing in, and it would be coming out his nose at the same time.
Well, do you remember when he would come in? He would breathe for the first minute. He was inside the hallway. Smoke would come out of his nose, his mouth. Do you remember that? You don't remember that?
Everybody did. The man was honestly like a sideshow. I'm not trying to be mean at all, and I'm sure that sound. Did I ever smoke cigarettes? Oh Lord, yes. Sweet koala. Fortunately, I never wanted my parents to see me smoking. I don't know why that was such a big deal.
The last time I smoked a cigarette, I was at a party at Walt's house.
Walt Dick?
Yeah, you remember?
Wow.
Remember it was a 50s party. Remember that?
I do remember the 50s.
You and I were there. We stopped. You said, get a pack of cigarettes. Somebody said, yeah. And I said, okay, good idea. So I got a pack of cigarettes and rolled them up in my shirt. and we were there.
And you know what? Those were
hammered.
lucky strikes.
I was lit, and I was leaning against the building, and we're getting ready to leave, and this dude comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, can I have a smoke?" I said, "I don't smoke, dude." He goes, "Yeah, you do." I'm like, "Dude, I don't smoke." He goes, "Yeah, you do." I'm like, "I'm not." Smack you in the mouth. Get away from me. He goes, "Dude, one of those then." I'm like, "Oh man, I guess I smoke." Here, dude, I'm sorry, I forgot about these. So I guess you can have them, man. I don't smoke. So he did this little number here, and he opened them up, and he handed one to me, and I grabbed it like I'd smoked a million. I didn't know what I was thinking, but I was lit. I was hammered, and I took one hit off of that thing, and that was it, man. I was
turned
sick.
16 shades green.
Oh, horrible.
Lucky Strikes used to. It said LMS. I don't remember what it says. There's a bunch of initials on the bottom of a pack of Lucky Strikes. I never smoked them, but it says on the label, when I did Grease, we kept them rolled up in our sleeve. And on the label, it said, "It's toasted." It's toasted. Apparently, they take tobacco leaves that you're going to light on fire.
They toast them anyway.
And they toast them because...
You know what? It's almost like a tasty treat.
Oh, Lord.
That's sort of an inside joke.
Oh. We knew a guy that preferred cigarettes that had been half smoked.
He'd get up in the morning. He was a roommate of ours for a while. He'd get up in the morning, go around, be like, "What are you looking for, dude? Your car keys?" A tasty treat. I'm like, "Excuse me?" He'd look for a half-smoked cigarette because in the morning, especially.
Oh, so gross, man. Yeah, that is so gross. When I smoked, I would smoke 50 rollies every 2 days. Did it for years. Oh my goodness.
That's a lot. I mean, how long does it take you to roll that?
You know something? You'd
Seriously.
be really surprised. So
yeah, you get good at it.
Well, I did a prison sentence that you could smoke through.
Really?
You know what, Miss Sunrise Dawn? I'm not surprised. Thank God, by the way, but I'm not surprised. This is, I love cats more than just about anything, but this is one of the reasons that the Cats Have 9 Lives, thing catches so much traction, right? Do you remember? I mean, Linda was.
Oh, what a great animal.
We had a cat that died a couple of times. I'm not even being funny. Like I'm not that making light of it, but she literally died a couple of times, and that cat just kept coming back.
Snoop Dogg pays a person 6 figures to roll his blunts. I just checked that out because I remember hearing about it. So I don't know how many he goes through. Right. But she's knocking back 6 figures for rolling those.
It's a she?
It is.
Oh, it's a she. Excellent. Well, you know something, though?
She slayed it.
How do you explain that to your wife? Oh, don't trip. All she does is roll joints. I swear to you, babe, she meant nothing to me at all.
What's that? They're blunts.
They're blunts, I'm sorry. Well, I guess it's a blunt if you ruin the taste of it with a large. I don't get it either. But it's not, mine is not to question why. Mine is just to not do it in the first place.
Right.
But again, what do I know? I don't know much. Tony B, No Talk Tony, how are you? Good to see you. Russ saved a doggy. It's the cutest dog you ever seen. It's incredible.
Really?
Yeah. Zyn nicotine pouches. Hillbilly says, a lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people are having a lot of luck using these Zyn nicotine pouches. I'll tell you what I dig about the concept of this is that it breaks.
I don't know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you, Johnny Scola.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. They come in a tin, so almost like what a thing of chewing tobacco.
Okay.
And inside are these little pouches that kind of looks like a Skull Bandit.
Okay.
All right. But there's no tobacco in it at all. And these things
just
nicotine. And they also don't have flavor, right? Well, you can get them with flavor. You can also get them without flavor. So, but you're losing the ritual, right? So you boys come around here wrong then.
Is it harder to get rid of the ritual though of
the pouches?
You're just swapping ritual.
Well, yes and no, because the ritual of a delivery system is and there's a lot to it as opposed to which we're used to anyway. We put food in our mouth that way. We put pills in our mouth that way. We put damn near everything in our mouth that way. but it's not ritual. You're not eating 14 of these puppies, right?
Right.
You put it in, you forget about it, and then that's the nicotine for the day or whatever.
The whole day?
No, but for a period of time,
gotcha.
I was going to do that's the whole day.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been it. What if his wife can't roll a blunt? Scoob, this is not his wife. You're saying what if his wife can? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb. Is this blunt roller that he hired? Is she an ugly woman?
Didn't see a picture.
I want a picture of this blunt roller because I bet she's not an ugly woman.
Here's the thing.
She could have hired a dude, Scooby, to roll her blunts.
I never could roll
a blunt,
a joint. I'm bad at it.
Oh, but I could.
I know. I used to get the machines though.
Yes. You know who taught me to?
Yeah. Rock.
You remember when?
Yeah. Sure do. I remember exactly that moment.
I do too.
Oh, I could laugh my skull because I know exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Right this second.
Right before a concert.
Exactly. But I know exactly what's in your dome right now. Hilarious.
Tammy Hinton says hypnosis worked for me for 3 years until my 17-year-old son, who is now 41, went to the pen. I smoked in the pen when you could. Now you could go up to. We had what was called the coffee shop. Believe it or not, this was a wicked soft prison.
Coffee shop?
Yeah, listen to this. I'm not kidding you. First of all, people would walk around the yard without boots on. Right, like I've seen people in the summertime.
150 a day she rolls. 150.
Hey, listen to me.
He's giving them away to people. He's got it. He can't be burning 150 a day.
And not for nothing. But if I were married and I said to my wife, "This is my joint roller,"
you're gonna have a problem.
We're getting divorced.
You're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, because this does not just look to me like I don't know. Do you think that he could have hired a dude to roll his joints? He didn't go out of his way to find an ugly woman to roll his joints.
He says,
He says
he is smoking to his head, to his face, 150 a day. You must get up and smoke 5 before you take a shower. I'm not even joking.
Wait a second.
Like 3 or 4 between cups of coffee.
Wait.
He's burning 150 a day.
You know what?
It says so.
I know. I don't buy this.
I don't either.
You can't do this.
He couldn't do TV spots. He couldn't sing. He couldn't do a concert.
All right, look, I was told there would be no math, right? How long does the average person stay awake? You get up at about 9 o'clock in the morning. You go to bed at about what? Midnight? Right? 15 hours? What's the average person awake? 15, 16 hours?
The average person is awake 16 hours a day.
Okay, 16 hours a day. So he's smoking 10 joints an hour, give or take. Right? Because if you're smoking that many joints, you're not staying awake as long as the average.
How can he talk? How does he not sound like he's been in a coal mine for 700 years? How can he even talk?
Or sing.
Or anything.
I mean, his voice should...
I don't buy it.
Like he's
I just don't
gargling
buy
gas.
it.
Hold on,
It's a good story.
Hold on. So we're looking at 10 joints an hour. If you smoke that many joints, you're not making 16 hours. You're going to fall asleep at about 14. But let's say you're doing just 10 joints an hour, right?
Just 10
joints an hour. But these aren't joints. These are blunts. They're long ones, people, with quite a bit of pot in it, right? Just the sheer magnitude of the brown leafy wrappy stuff that they wrap that in. Just absolutely horrible.
Just me being me says smoked 1 ounce a day for years. So that's busy. I did it. I was smoking like 1 ounce a week and thought that was a lot.
Snoop has a professional roller. Yeah, I was just looking at pictures of her, and I'm sorry. Again, if I were married, my wife wouldn't be happy that woman was rolling my blunts. And that sounds dirty, doesn't it? But I didn't mean it like that. Have you heard about the investigation into prisoner deaths in Wales Park Prison? No, but I am going to do that because that's kind of in 2009. Check this out.
3 people have been arrested following the deaths of multiple inmates at a prison in Britain. 6 prisoners have died there just since February 27th and March 19th. Wow, that's a lot in a short period of time.
Well, are they saying that these deaths are from drug overdoses or from what?
They are.
Sorry, people.
Some drug overdoses. Yeah, they're drug overdoses.
Yeah. You know what? This checks out, people. Even without looking at it, right? No problem predicting that one. There is so much. Like, yeah, and this is every prison on planet Earth, right? You got to realize this. A person smuggling something inside prison is trying to get the most bang for the buck they possibly can. So not only are they trying to get in fent, but they don't want this stuff cut. The fent they're trying to get inside the walls, they want in its purest form. Because if you could smuggle a gram of fentanyl that hasn't been cut with anything, now, does this become an issue? Finding something to cut it with becomes a real issue.
Oh yeah, I wonder what they do. What do they do?
Oh, I can tell you what they do. So there was a guy who had a very bright idea of bringing in K2. This is a synthetic. Everybody's bringing it in, by the way. But he had the bright idea of bringing it in. Instead of having it, you take this powder and you mix it with denatured alcohol. And then you spray it onto or paint it onto or whatever paper, a paper product of some kind. You mail that in. And if it gets by them, you sell the paper product in like 1 inch by 1 inch squares for, say, $50. They cut them into hits the size of an eyelash. And you hit it off of a can like you would crack. And that's how they do it. They start doing they start doing the kibber. They're so thin that when they cut them, they begin to curl. That's why they call them eyelashes. They're thin as hell.
What do they cut them with?
Razors. Yeah, like Paulie does when he's doing the onions.
Yeah,
because it's all you got is inside is a razor blade. But this guy said, if I get the powder in and I mix it on the inside. So this old lady smuggles in the powder to him through visiting.
What do you think of this? Do you think there's
Hold on. He mixes it with floor stripper because they can't find denatured alcohol. So they use floor stripper instead. They make it gets the nickname on the yard bug spray. And amazingly, as bad as this stuff was and the things it was doing to people, guys were saying, "Do you got that bug spray?"
That's
all right. Now, what were you gonna say?
I'm looking at this. It's the one that's posted up there. In 2019, studies found that as many as 80% of people with schizophrenia are smokers. Do you think there's a correlation, or is there something in schizophrenia that helps nicotine kind of soothe? What do you think is behind that? I wonder.
You know what? It's an unusual thing. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because it could go either way, right? But you framed it perfectly. It's going to be one or the other, and it's interesting to know which one it is. People with schizophrenia or I think very often, if you can double your dopamine, right, that's a very pleasant thing for all parties involved, right? It is. Even people who hate the concept of smoking or whatever, the idea of your dopamine level being doubled, nobody dislikes that as a concept. It's a fairly pleasant thing. It really is. So it makes sense to me. And I think that sometimes people who struggle with mental illness may need that more than others. It is a very soothing behavior. It is. It's a self-soothing behavior. We love to have something to do with our hands. We love to have something to do with our mouth. Going back to,
there are times in my life where I've been frantic, and what I find is if things are not going well and I'm coming apart at the hinges, I display more OCD kind of traits.
Absolutely.
And in those moments, any sort of buzz that I can find is an escape. And maybe, you know what I mean? It's some sort of control that I have in a moment where I don't feel like I have anything.
No question.
And I think that may be something. I don't know.
No,
of course, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on my channel.
And that's probably a good thing. But you spend a lot of time playing with dopamine on your channel in a pretty big way. I mean, you are going out and manipulating dopamine levels in ways that the average cat is not. While you might not be smoking a cigarette,
right?
You're overloading the crap out of your body with capsaicin for a very.
You know, the last I've done once in probably the last month. It was a pepper challenge about 4 days ago. I ate 17, and that was the first time I've had a hard,
good dopamine buzz. Right,
for sure. For peppers, but now when pepper season starts, I'm doing that every day. For sure.
I ate some hot stuff yesterday just to clean out the old schnapps.
I thought that was so funny. I thought, what are you thinking, man? I watched you do it. I'm like, oh, that's
you know
not
what? I was
good.
I was so plugged up, man. I was so plugged up, but it worked. It really did knock it out. Gypsy Soul says, why don't you read that? No, I got it. Yeah. There have been studies indicating predisposition can bring about onset of schizophrenia with various drugs. I believe that too. I absolutely believe that. It just makes sense, doesn't it? Huh? It just makes sense. It's so let's talk about Diddy, man. Let's talk about this low life. Or, you know what? We're not calling him that. I'm sorry. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm not. Somebody said that yesterday on the channel, and I dig that.
The chief used to say his name and then giggle afterwards.
Yeah, I mean the guy's he's a tool, but I'm calling him the creep or Sean or whatever. But this guy's
somehow work Epstein into his name because
I heard yesterday somebody was saying you can't compare him to Epstein because of Epstein's. There were so many people that were underage or whatever. We have no idea what's on these tapes, people. We got no idea what's going to end up being on these tapes. Now, I did hear last night that there was a grip of stuff they took out of those houses. And that's what I was really looking for because I didn't hear anybody.
Wow. Okay, this is his house. They found in this $40 million home, they found an underwater tunnel and more. Because everybody needs a tunnel. Of course,
do you know why? Do you know why he's got those things though? Because all of these rooms, it's like the Scooby-Doo. You know how the eyes are following you in every room you go through?
Right.
Okay. Well, apparently his homes were honestly set up that way. So this cat was recording everybody. And you know something? You start to look at why did the feds pick a day to raid him? You know what I mean? Like why was that the day of the raid?
It wasn't by accident.
No. Like nothing that the feds do is by accident, I promise you. Do you know why, in my humble opinion, they raided them when they did? Because either somebody working for Diddy is also working for them, but somehow they got wind. There was a sniff of the fact that Diddy was starting to talk like, we need to clean this place up. I promise. When they hit places on a couple of coasts and they're already ready to go wherever that plane was, right? They were ready to ground that puppy. Grab whoever was on it. The drug mule got busted. They were prepared. They were going in deep for a reason, man. They really were.
That drug mule, what a dim-witted clown. Ugh.
Bring back the 24-hour stream, says Tito Sanchez. Yeah, well, I don't know that we even made 24, did we? Dead man walking, says Bradley Smith.
I gave it a good college go.
You did. I did. What are you looking at there, Johnny Scoville? You do realize I'm staring at a huge screen in front of me with your grill on it, don't you? Okay, just checking. There are a ton of studies done on capsaicin for pain conditions. A ton, Jennifer Lemke.
Oh, they are amazing.
His bodyguards sniffed out a raid and predicted it 3 months ago, says Pruitt. I'll tell you what. The other thing that people are asking, I'm getting, yeah, you know something? Tammy, I understand where you're coming from this. I really do. Because they do always seem to kind of coincide. But I'll tell you something. The thing with Diddy has been percolating for a very, very long time. And if my humble opinion on this one is that this is not so much one of those false Freddy kind of things to keep us, don't look over here because of what's happening, in my opinion. And I completely understand where you're coming from. But this lowlife, this has been in the works for so freaking long. It really has. This has been going on for a very, very long time, and I think his clan, his crew, has forced this to a head. I think they were getting ready to destroy a lot of evidence. I think is what was getting ready to happen, and I think everybody that has emailed me on this from the crew wants to know why this dude hasn't been arrested and this and that, and I'll tell you why. Because this is when the feds are at their best, right? What you do is you throw a hand grenade into the middle of the camp and you watch who starts killing each other, right? Because once they start pulling all of those cameras out of there, there are some people that are victims in this, and there are some people that are predators in this, and then there are those people that probably fall a little bit on both sides, and they're going to be letting these people bury each other is what's going to happen. That I promise you that right now there are people lawyering up to beat hell, and it's getting
imagine.
Yeah. Davey, good to see you. Glad you're back. Yeah, they let them burn themselves down. Just me being me. I mean, real story. Because the feds don't lose, man. Like for real, the feds don't lose. So what they're doing now is they're sitting back and we watch movies, and you get this thing where the guy sits down and he talks to his lawyer and he says, "I'm not doing any time." You go back in there and you tell him, "I'm not doing any time," or like Goodfellas. You remember when Henry Hill sits down and says, "It's got to be a warm place. I'm going to a warm place. I'm not doing any of these things." That doesn't happen. It might have at one time, but it sure as crap doesn't anymore. Now the process, you can Google it. Now the process is this. Maybe in the States, I don't know, but in the feds, it works like this.
Hey, squirrel, cut it out.
Squirrel nut, knock it off.
Hey,
you say to them, I can tell you information about this guy, and they go, good. Give us all of the information you got, every single bit of it, all of it.
And they promise you nothing.
Yeah. And then we'll tell you whether or not we can use that. And if we can use it, we'll go to the judge and say, Johnny was awfully helpful. Maybe you could be nice to him. And the judge can go, nah,
No.
not after the life of crime that Johnny's lived, or, not after whatever. You're not promised anything. You could sell your soul and find out that the judge gives you 2 months off. The dude that ratted me out went to prison anyway. He didn't get the golden ticket. He didn't get to ride home. He went to prison anyway. It's like you become a rat and you go to prison. That seems
she's
like
not going to be happy you did that.
No, she's going to be pretty angry that I did that. But you become a rat and you go to prison. That seems like a bad deal all the way around.
I don't think he's not made for it. He can't do prison.
No. Well, I mean, he's going to do prison. I don't see how he gets out of that. Yankee Kyle, good for you, man. You quit vaping. Did you do it cold turkey? How did you do it?
That's pretty big.
Yeah, no, quitting vaping's rugged. I haven't done it myself. I mean, I have, but
And to
I
my
keep coming
knowledge,
back.
we've been doing this for a long time, Yankee Kyle. To my knowledge, this is the first thing that you have had a habit of that you quit because you've never consumed.
Right.
And I respect that. It's because of things that you learned from the past. And I get that. But to my knowledge, this is the first thing that you have had, first vice you have put behind you. That's impressive, man.
Very. I'm happy
Very
about
impressive.
that. Very, very cool. Proud of you, Kyle. And a lot of people are. Very cool. Shannon Smith says, are you friends with the guy who ratted you out? No, I am not. No, I'm not friends with the guy that ratted me out.
They aren't getting Christmas cards.
No. And here's the thing. I do not harbor. I've completely let it go. I really don't care at all. I wouldn't be where I am today if it were not for him. I hold no hard feelings, but he would not get in the same state with me. We accidentally ended up in the same city at one point, and it did not go very well. He called the cops on me, and I didn't threaten him. I didn't do anything. We just ended up in the same place, and he called 911
Can I tell you something?
for seeing me.
Devil's advocate here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I do something that you're going to go away for, and I'm out somewhere having a cocktail. I look over and see you. I'm calling 911. Sorry.
Maybe just run because I didn't do anything wrong.
Did he? Well, hang on. Question again. When he looked over and saw you, did you guys make eye contact, or did he just see you? Did he make eye contact with you?
By way of full disclosure, I may have sent a drink to his table.
Well, jeez, dude.
But that's not mean. I didn't say, hey, I want you to send over the death nut. I said, hey, send him over a drink, would you? Whatever he's having, and just tell him it's for me. And I did this one, like you see in the movies. He was sitting with a lady. I was with a lady at the time, and he looked over, and I went, right, gave him one of those, like,
was it a highball or a shot, like an open casket, or was it a?
You want to hear something really truthful?
What was the name of the drink?
It was a slippery nipple.
Oh, it's just cold. That's just insulting. That's like.
I said, I just thought it was.
He didn't.
That's a nice shooter.
Did he call 911 and stick around, or did he run like the wind?
Well, no, he took off, right? And he kind of went running like he was trying to disappear, and he went toward the kitchen. So I kind of went that way, and we did end up kind of in the same hallway. But I didn't do a thing. I didn't threaten him. I went into the bathroom. Like he was here, and I went like this, and just went into the bathroom, left him standing right there in the hallway between me and the kitchen.
Was he paralyzed?
Oh yeah, he was paralyzed. He was definitely a little nervous.
Seized his engine up a little bit.
Yeah, he was. There was even a twitch or two. But I went into the bathroom, so I go into the bathroom. I go to use the urinal. When I come back out, he's gone. I went and sat back down with my lady friend, and we finished up what we were doing. When I went outside, it was like I had just pulled a heist, and they were
That's
outside.
crazy.
They were outside waiting on me. When I went outside, there were they had all kinds of.
I feel like somebody beat me with a board. My arms are killing me, man.
Yeah.
Tommy made me work out with him yesterday.
You know what? I didn't make you.
No, but I feel like somebody worked me over with a fungo bat. Nothing on the fungo bat reference?
No, nothing. I don't think he drank the drink. To be honest, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure if he drank the drink. I don't think he did. And you know what's funny? The lady he was with was lovely, and the guy has never.
Yeah, but he just threw his man card on the table. You know,
Well,
I'll probably get in trouble for that.
no, but one of the funniest things was when I got outside, and the police reaction was fantastic because they had him kind of down the street like you would, so that he could identify the perp kind of thing. And when I went out there, the guy said, you know, do you live in this state? I said, no, I'm here on vacation. And I said, and I assure you, it's got nothing to do with dude. I didn't even know dude lived in this state. When I knew him, he lived in a different state. I said, and he goes, well, what happened inside? And I told him exactly what happened. Just the same the way I just told you. I didn't embellish it in any way. That's what I said. And he goes, so there was no threat? I said, we didn't even talk. I didn't say a word to him. And the officer looked at him with the disdain that you just kind of gave with the, I'm sorry, what? I said, I didn't say a word to this dude. And when he went over and talked to him, and then he was dumb enough to actually admit that, no, I hadn't said anything to him. And at that point, the guys in blue, because of where we were not in a soft city. We were in an actually pretty tough town. And they had no sense of humor with him at all. And by the time that they realized just how weak this whole thing was, they had already contacted my probation officer, who had said to them, I know where he is. I signed his travel papers. You know, he's like, he is a model probationer.
I have a friend who did 20 years on a conspiracy charge.
I know that guy.
All right.
Yeah.
The dude went to jail for 20 years.
Bradley Smith, good to see you, man.
On the testimony of a co-conspirator. Now, did 20 years, gets out, and I said to him, dude's in the same town but still. I said, you ever see him? He goes, the week I got out, I'm walking down the street, and he's walking down the same street. And I said, I wouldn't have done anything to go back, but it would have been hard not to kill him. Yeah. And he said to me, oh, I killed him a long time ago.
Oh, exactly.
There's no point in killing. I killed him such a long time ago. He's dead already.
Yep, that really
no
is.
No point in doing it again. And I was like, I get that.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. Tommy, this is Mary Jones. Kelly, B69 convict, will be on my channel talking about being in and leaving in abusive relationships. An important discussion, ripple effects happening. I love that. I absolutely love that. And heck of a guest. Truthfully, heck of a guest. Tree-hugging Buddhist. Oh, can we get thoughts and prayers for a kitty that's having some bowel trouble? For real, that's tough. It really is. Yeah, that's a bummer.
So, what do you guys think of the couch setup? Is that a setup you dig or not?
Yeah, you know what?
He's a more handsome dude than I. He probably just get out of that frame.
Well, there's no question I'm a more handsome dude than you, but I don't know that has anything to do with anything. Yeah. You know, one of the things I need to probably go back to is my wireless.
Spanx has got rocking that Ted Nugent look right now.
I need to
Tell
go
me
back
he's not looking like Ted Nugent.
The Motor City Madman.
For real, dude. You look awesome.
Did you ever see Ted in concert?
No.
You know, he does this bow and arrow thing where he puts on an Indian headdress, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like this massive, huge tribal, like a ceremonial rather, Indian headdress.
Right.
And then takes a Gibson guitar, which he screams about being made in the US of A, and hits it with a flaming arrow from a really long distance across the
the stage or arena. I've watched him do it a bunch of times. I've seen him. Now I don't remember how many times.
When
but
he came out with the song Fred Bear, he pretty much left the main road and kind of went into the bushes. Fred Bear. You gotta love Ted, man. You really do. But Spanx is rocking that Ted love, man. Slung a guitar over, played a little Cat Scratch Fever.
a lovely song, right? When you want to play from Moscowville, we can sing it.
I just learned that the other day. To try to lure the cat in,
Right.
you were gone. And I tried.
I'm not going to.
I did pour some sugar on me, and someone said, "Try Cat Scratch Fever." I didn't know how to play it, so I queued it up and learned how to play it real quick, and it
Pour
didn't
some
work.
sugar on me. That would. Oh, that's a. I could not tell what
Big
you were
important
doing.
question from Davey: where can I find Narcan for free?
Excellent. Depending on what city you're in, this is a very important question. Depending on what city you are in, you're going to want to. Wow, the pharmacist charges $135 for Narcan. Davey, please do me a favor. Whatever city you are in, call the local news and tell them that. Honest to God, they're charging money for Narcan anywhere in the U.S. We got a problem. One of the things that the last unbelievably large omnibus bill that we dropped cash on in this country, one of the huge things in there was to give this stuff away everywhere. So that's an issue. That is literally an issue. Bow chicken, bow. No, but depending on what city you're in, there's probably a needle exchange program, right? Most cities have a needle exchange program in the city. Needle exchange programs will give them away as often as you go in, right? No questions asked.
Saying hi, Christy.
Yeah. Look for city and county agencies to provide Narcan, says the tree hugging Buddhist. And that is correct because there is a ton of money allocated to this. So what you need to do is Google free Narcan in my area. I promise you, if they're not giving it to you, Google that. And if they're not giving it to you, either call the press or call here. Reach out to me because there's something wrong with that.
It's in high school hallways in case of emergency break class.
Look, in the last city I was in, they're on telephone poles throughout the city. They have emergency Narcan boxes. You open it up, they're 6-7 boxes stacked deep, and they fill them every day.
That's crazy.
And there's also test strips, so you can take your heroin, just take an amount of it so small that you're not losing any stuff. Get it wet, rub it across the test strip. If it turns purple, it's got fentanyl in it. And it's not going to stop anybody from banging the dope. It's not going to stop anybody from banging the dope. What it's going to stop them from doing is going hard to the paint. Tammy says my county would arrest you. Lovely, right? That's right. Drive them back underground. Listen, if you're listening to the Lifeboat and you're still using fent, just don't do dope alone. You realize that all you need is a buddy system where you say to your friend, don't. Before you get high, just call me. Even if you're not in the same place, before you get high, call me. Because if you shoot this stuff and I don't hear from you in 5 minutes, I'm calling 911 and sending them to your house. Because if they get there within 10, 15, you got a shot. Vermont will send kits to you for free. Comes with fentanyl testing kits. Says just me being me.
Just me being me. Mentioned earlier that fentanyl really becoming a huge problem in Vermont.
Absolutely
Nuts.
Well, what's nuts is this.
There was not one death of overdose. I think
there was not even an arrest. There was not even a heroin arrest. When I was a freshman in college, it had not yet happened, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But the deal with the thing with Vermont is it has the fastest growing problem, or one of the either number one or number two fastest growing problems in the country. It was up last year by 300% over the previous year. It's growing. Now, it's not one of the largest states, so it doesn't, but per capita, it's insane. Per capita, it is insane. And it is hard to wrap your brain around. You can go online and watch like documentaries and things about people in the Northeast who are hurting, and Vegas, comes in there's a lot of places where you just go, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're filming there.
Right.
Can't believe they're filming there. And they're calling people who are delivering the same way that they used to us. And you're just thinking about that part of the country.
That's
And you're
bizarre to think about.
about
Yeah.
a driver just going back and forth on Route 4.
That's too weird for me.
Route 4.
If they told you that.
Davey, I think it's a great idea. Everybody should have it. Everybody should have it. I think you're spot on. You really should. Tommy, here, look at this. This is cool. Zelda says, Tommy, in Massachusetts, if you have a script for pain medication, you have to have prescription. Yeah, for Narcan.
Wow. Check in with you to see if you filled it. That's amazing.
That's a great idea, man.
That's brilliant.
It really is.
I've
It's a
never
great
heard that
idea.
before.
It would be awesome if it was just pro forma, and when you went and got your first script, they just give it to you, right? Maybe every 10 scripts or whatever. Especially depending on what your prescriptions are written for. Because I don't know, keep it real. If you're abusing Loratab, there's not a really good chance that you need a lot of Narcan in your life. But as you start to climb the food chain,
Yeah, that's just
because inevitably you're going to start to climb the food chain, right? And as you start to take stronger and stronger stuff, you have to have it around. It saves people's lives. Now, admittedly, it doesn't save people's lives the way it used to, right? Narcan used to be the silver bullet. It used to be the antidote, and
I've seen a few videos where on the scene there are 3 or 4 different doses doesn't work.
Yes, Kat Kaplan, I did. And you know what? I'm sorry that's the third time. It really is hard to keep up, hon. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I did. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look at that. That's when I get my prescription for my meds, I'm also given a prescription for Narcan. Not that I think I need it, but I have it with me in case it is ever needed. It's never, you know what? It's never going to be, I promise you're never going to be doing it to yourself. It's just not how it works. You're not going to Narcan yourself. But if you need it, it's going to be to save somebody else's life, and you're going to be so happy that you have it. I don't know of a case. There might be, but I don't know of a case in my life where somebody Narcan themselves.
No, I haven't either.
It doesn't. I don't know. It's not.
I'll tell you what.
It doesn't sneak up on you.
How many times have you and I been driving in Tucson where we see somebody folded in half or slumped over on a park bench where we stop the car and walk up?
Well, it happened in Nevada too. Do you remember when we were on Plum coming up to Virginia? That guy was right. I said, that dude's out. Look at him.
I'm not sure that guy was alive. But you see it all the time now. I don't think any city, any town is free from it. If you can Narcan yourself, you don't need Narcan, says Kestrel 42.
Yeah, you know what? Correct. If you can Narcan yourself, you don't need Narcan. It's not one of those things that builds up. You're not going, oh, I think I might be, I think I may be going out. I should probably go get some Narcan. It's like 1 second, everything is good. And you're like, ooh, yeah. And then you wake up,
It isn't too different than getting put out for a surgery. There's just no doctors around.
Yeah, it really is a good thing to have on you, people. There's no way.
Tommy, can you describe things we can spot if someone's likely to need it? Asked Nicola E. It's a great question.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great
so
question.
absolutely. One of the first things that you notice with people is that the pupils get really, really small. I mean, like pinpricks. It gets to the point where all you're seeing is iris. You're not seeing any pupil at all. Yeah, they call it pinned, right? Drug users will call it, their eyes are just pinned. They're so tight that you just they're so constricted that you really don't see it. They also don't track right. You'll see the really kind of lazy eye movements as you're moving. There's a lag between as you start to move and when the eyes track to it. It's very, very noticeable. But by the time the Narcan is happening, what you're seeing is the people are nodding out. The chin drops, the airway starts to constrict. You'll hear noises. They gurgle. It's pretty damn obvious. By the time people are starting to go out, the airways start to close. As you overdose, what kills you is you stop breathing. and you don't go and suck it back in, normally it's uncomfortable. If Johnny were to fall asleep and I were to plug his nose, right, he would jerk back, to awake, because your body doesn't put up with that. With the dope in your system that much, your body's so relaxed that you just hold that nose, and no one's going to feel that. They would just go to sleep and not wake up. There's no discomfort that they feel. So you see a change of skin color. People start to get a blue tinge. Absolutely. And the bluer they're getting, the more dangerous it is. The first place you're going to notice it is going to be the lips. They start losing that natural kind of rosy color that we have in the lips. It starts to go blue, and they cannot keep their head up. They cannot keep their head up. So their head is either going to loll forward, it's going to loll to the side, but all of a sudden your head just weighs 10 million pounds.
So do their eyelids.
And their eyelids. You're not going to keep your eyelids open. And if a person looks like they're sleeping really, really peacefully, don't assume they're sleeping very, very peacefully.
Oh my gosh, how many rock stars? We thought he was sleeping.
We thought he was asleep. Well, you hear about this all the time. And by the time they get over to him, rigor mortis is set in.
Right.
They literally partied in a room with a guy for 12 hours. Well, for the last 2 or 3 months, no one's seen him in any other condition.
Right.
So it's not a real shocker to look over and see somebody like this, because that's just how they are at all times. But if somebody in your life if you see him start to go that route, I would also, as you start to do Narcan, as you start to spray the stuff up someone's nose, get that knuckle and put it right at the hollow spot right here, and go all the way down, and then go up and down as hard as you can. I mean, lean right into it. It's called a sternum rub, and it goes like a xylophone. Very, very uncomfortable, horrifically uncomfortable. But it makes the addict do what not breathing will not, right? It'll jerk them into going, right? What are you doing? I'm going to keep doing it, right? A couple of face shots, right? You want to make them uncomfortable. You want to keep shocking them back into breathing. Cold water.
For the record, that's what you did to me when I
and a crap load of Narcan. Right? Yeah. I fell right into you overdosed.
But I'll tell you what, the next day, or for about a week, I hurt so much from what you did to my chest. I felt like you just beat the brakes off me. Honestly, that really hurt.
I kind of just kicked the crap out of you while you were out. What are the odds I'm going to be able to smack him around and not have him come back at me? I was just like, you know what? You're going to be all right, Joe. Oh, smart guy. Huh? How many subs you got? How many subs you got, silver button guy? What?
Short ones to the side.
Huh? How many subs you got? Yeah, no, I was just doing sternum rubs.
Dennis from Boston. Narcan saved my son. Thank God I was home that day. 2 cans of Narcan and he popped out of it. Thank God.
Dennis, thank God for that is right, man.
Wow.
That's, you know what? So often there's nobody there. My ex-son-in-law's head kept falling and hitting the table.
I got him woke. That was 8 years ago, probably. Wow.
Tammy Hinton, it's the nod. They're nodding out. It's literally going like this. The head weighs 1 million pounds, right? And you know what? There are so many nicknames for it. The nod, rolling, right? Because their head is, not to be foul, but sucking themselves, right? You can finish that sentence any way you want, but that's what people describe, because it looks like the person is, right? The head is just going up and down, and they're, it's not a big deal. The nod's not. That's the problem. You watch somebody on normal dope, they nod out, they wake up, they nod out, they wake up, and it's a very pleasant thing. It would happen on heroin all the time. That's what people are looking for. Trouble is, then you nod on something so damn strong you don't wake up when you nod. And that's everything on the street today. And what makes it insidious is, there's a large segment of the society that are still on the street today that used to do drugs you could nod on, right? That was the goal. The goal was to get to where, instead of working all day to do a crap load of dope to get to here, that's where you start at now. So if you happen to do a couple, or you do, it's a death sentence. If you're on it, reach out, because you're not going to make it.
How do you not outlaw standing? Because we see that all the time now. They're folded in half. They got it's like the Kensington stare.
How do you not outlaw it? Here's the problem. What do you do it? Why does sternum rub needed or useful? When somebody is unconscious, right? And the drug is in the system, You've got so much of the drug in the system that it's knocked the person out. Again, what normally happens is you go, right? Well, with not happening, you have to jar the system. And a slap in the face sometimes jars the system. This always does, right? The sternum rub always jars the system. You know, yeah, you feel sick immediately. When Narcan takes the dope away, you're going to feel sick immediately. And that used to be a really good thing too. But fent is so strong, 30 minutes later, that Narcan's going to wear off and you might have to Narcan them again. And watch how happy they're going to be when you got to do that another time. Yeah, nodding out while standing happens because the drug is so damn powerful. But if you were to see Kensington, what are you going to do? Arrest every one of them? Overwhelm the prisons, the jail staff with trying to take care of, say, 60 or 70 people that are in the, a different phase of, you talk about a victim. What are you going to put that person in general population? Right? Take them to the jail and put them in GP, fold it over at the waist. Bad things are going to happen to that person. Right? Really bad things.
We're in a jam.
Sternum rubs are incredibly painful, which is why it pushes through some drugs. We are in a jam. We're absolutely in a jam.
Big one.
Yeah, there's no, and I don't know where we go from this. I really don't. It could have been heroin. 8 years ago, it probably was. It probably was. The nod, you know what? If you ever read anything, we talk about the Basketball Diaries on here a lot because I'm a huge fan of Jim Carroll. Jim Carroll was an incredible author. We talk about his work, the Basketball Diaries. Pretty incredible collection of poems that ended up a film. But am I confessing to sibling abuse? No. I actually I may have kept him alive on that day. I do like beating him up. But,
may have. You say it'd be like a dozen times, but that one was big time.
I was
already going to the other side, man.
No, that one was a pretty big one. And on that note, people, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this a day. They showed pictures of Johnny Depp doing that during his trial against his ex-wife too. You know what? Listen, there are a lot of people that abuse opiates. A lot. Doesn't mean they're drug addicts either, but a lot of people love that buzz, right? And there's been a lot that came out that that Johnny Depp occasionally dips his toe in that pool. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Look, like I've said this a million times, the vast majority of people that do drugs don't have a problem with drugs. I know that's hard for people like us to understand, but the vast majority of people that do drugs don't have a problem with drugs. And I think Johnny probably enjoys. Johnny Depp enjoys, nodding out from time to time. I'm not mad at him. I can't do it. If he can, bless him. I hope he's having a good day. Tampa B man, good to see you. How are you doing? Glad you're here. Look forward to being serenaded. Yes, well, it's coming. I promise. People, we're going to be doing some more boat later, but I'm dragging him with me in the morning because I spend half the time yelling to him. Hey, John. I do. Right? Johnny Scoville, look this up.
It tends to happen.
It tends to happen. So it just makes a lot more sense to go this way.
Now, if the feedback is get that bearded dude off your channel, then we're going to listen.
Well, no, I will. I'll just throw you out. I don't care. I don't really like you much. I'm just going with what you guys have been asking for in the first place. But more than 100 deaths in England since last summer linked to laced heroin and ketamine. Some of the doses were 40 times stronger than fent. Never heard of it before. Well, if it's 40 times stronger than fent, there's an excellent chance you're talking about iso or phytonitazines, right? Nits tend to be 40 times stronger. That is the actual number that they come out with for that. So there's a good chance that the nitazine group of drugs, of painkillers, have hit your country. And I'm sorry to hear that. But it's all over the world now. It's just cheaper to make than fentanyl, and it's stronger. Spanky Calhoun, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain. I am, hold on. Sorry. Good. What do you think? You like the couch setup, Calhounis?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. I like that.
Well, I've been yelling to him so much that people are they're getting sick of it. It does seem odd that he's not on camera, but I'm always talking to him, so we just thought we'd go this way.
I think it's cool because when we bring in the cat cam now, we won't like. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but my eyes always kind of graze across your crotch on the cat cam. So
It's an
cool to
unusual,
not
it's
have
an
that.
unusual camera angle to be sure, and you're not the only person that said that. So
Hey, it's a good crotch. It's a good crotch.
yeah, no, I get that a lot too, but it still would be better for get that boy playing a 6-string. Yeah, there you go.
He can play it.
He can play a 6-string. Prefers a 7-string as it were, but he can play both the 6 and the 7-string.
So I'm saying, you take his sweatshirt off, you let the long hair, you swing
Well,
the guitar
before-
low and start playing Cat Scratch
Right.
Fever, and that's a viral clip.
But before he went, this is what we saw when Johnny was saying, yeah, that's what it looked like. So that's it. That's what it was beforehand. All right, people. I am Captain Tony Scoville. The cat is loose somewhere, and I will see you all on the next one. Heifer says, I mean, what cat? Hef. That's the Hef I know and love. All right, people. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye now.
Bye-bye
Yeah.
now.